We're back. I feel
Yeah,
like this is Sunday.
it's Monday.
I know what it is. I just feel like it's Sunday. That's how I feel. I guess you feel like it's Monday.
It feels like Monday to me.
Nah, nah. How was your day?
It was a Monday.
I mean, was it good, bad?
It was cool. I can't complain. Woke up this morning, did my little routine, went to work, had a little dinner.
What you eat for dinner?
I had I had two different types of pot stickers. I had some elite pot stickers that I was trying, super tasty, and some veggie pot stickers and salad.
Did you make this?
I did.
Mm. We need to record.
It was tasty.
We need recording.
Yes.
Evening down to earth. How are you?
I even made some homemade tortillas. Tapped into my my lasa.
Your La Raza?
Tapped
I
in.
show. I showed Kylan welcome to the La Raza.
I tapped in. Tapped into my people, my roots.
Oh, whatever.
I even sent it to my sister, and I was like, you can tell her mama Louisa that I'm tapped, I'm dialed into my roots.
So solid steps to wealth. How
A
you
lot.
doing? It's been a minute. I ain't seen you in a while. So, do we want to talk about money? Do we want to talk about jobs? Money is different than jobs. Do we
I
want to
mean,
talk
we
about
can talk
design
about.
thinking?
I mean, we all. I think we always talk about money in 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 the
Or do we want to talk about,
growing, getting it and growing it.
oh, do we want to talk about Ebony K. Williams?
Tam Sojourner Douglas. You're already starting out on yours right now. Sojourner Douglas.
What can I say? I I come from the truth. I come from the truth. The truth with an F.
You know, this is the Petty and ready. She petty and I'm ready.
What's the problem?
Um, I mean, this is how we Linux. I think we can. I think we can touch on a little bit of everything in about an hour.
In about an hour.
In about an hour. You know, it's early where you are. You know, I got a schedule now.
What's your schedule?
You know, in order to
You
get
supposed
your
to be
time,
done.
you got to
You
get
supposed to be
everything
off
you
of
want
social
to.
media. You supposed to be off of social media at 10 o'clock or
You
at
know, I
12
only get
o'clock.
15 minutes a day.
Oh, okay.
My IG is only because that's my favorite go to is IG, my lurking self. I got 15 minutes, and usually when I'm hanging out with you at night at about 12 o'clock, I burn that up.
That's cause you're petty and I just sing you stuff.
You know, it's our time.
I
Like I
sing
can
you
be.
funny stuff though.
I mean, hey, I think we send each other a lot of stuff. It's our joy. During out the day, it's our language. Um, but you know, I'm trying to go to bed so I can get up.
You working out in the morning?
Yeah, I've been stretching and lengthening.
Your badge color change. You're a vet. Oh, you're an old vet now. You're an OG. So let's get busy. So I've been getting a lot of calls about platform engineering, but I'm going to talk about some design thinking. I talked about it from an infrastructure perspective, but I never talked about it from a project management perspective. And we've never actually looked at platform engineering in its totality to talk about the skill sets and so forth. So let's start with let's start with design thinking. But I have a question. when you think about platform engineering, what do you what do you consider a platform? What do you consider a platform? So, a good example of a platform would be AWS. It in itself is a platform. You have, and we're gonna get a little bit more into it, but I just want you to be thinking about that you interact with platforms every single day from an end user perspective. But how do you look at that from a management perspective, from someone who's selling a product perspective? Like, say you are selling a product to a consumer, like what, how does that look, right? So how do you sell that product to a consumer? How do you monetize that product? How do you market that product? How do you secure it? So, all the things that I talk about with security and skill sets, and if you're in the cloud or what have you, these are all things that or skill sets that are centered around about platform engineering. Oh yeah, here come the questions. It's a little different because in platform engineering, you're actually creating the services. In other words, you're using code to create the services to provide to the end user. And that end user could be internal to the actual company itself, or it could be external to the company. Whereas on the infrastructure side, we're building the actual infrastructure that those services would run on top of, that may be providing internally to that customer. And we're going to get into it a little bit more today so you get an idea, because there's platform engineering, there's site reliability engineering. I'll cover site reliability engineering next week. There is DevSecOps, where DevSecOps can really be across multiple, like it could be across platform engineering, it could be across reliability engineering. So you there are different there are different nuances to each one of those. Now the question is, where do you fit in it? What do you like? Where are you at in all of this, or where do you want to be in all of this? So in DevSecOps, site reliability engineering, uh, platform engineering, you could be in management, you could be on the security side, you could be on the automation side. You could be on the product side. You could be on the delivery side. You could be on the sales side. Like there's just a lot of different avenues to go down. But I wanted to bring this to you so you all can actually start really opening up your eyes to what I'm saying, as far as like what are fundamental skill sets that can lead you down the path to DevSecOps. It can lead you down the path to site reliability engineering. It can lead you down the path to automation. It could be lead you down the path to platform engineering. And then there's still a whole nother area in which I have not even talked about, is traffic engineering. Traffic engineering. So when I talk about traffic engineering, right? Um, imagine imagine how many hits a day does Google get from a search perspective. How many hits a day does Google get? And how much traffic do you think they get on a daily basis? How much traffic does Google get on a daily basis? Let's look it up. How much traffic does Google get a day? So Google gets 8.5 billion searches every day in a single day. 8.5 billion searches, and this is as of August the 4th. That converts to 99,000 searches per second. 15% of Google searches are unique, which is equivalent to 1.275 billion unique queries every day. Every day. So you got to think about the DNS that's involved with that, the search, the query, because if you know, like I know, if you put in something like how many kids does blah blah blah, you want that answer back in the next millisecond. You don't want to wait 5 seconds for that to come back like how we used to on dial up. You just sit there, you were like,
Just be like, ooh, dial up.
right,
Ah, you
right.
ringing, you like, you know,
So
have voice over IP. Like when it first came out, it had a whole router and the whole 9 yards. Like I had
yes,
a whole
I
network
mean you got
set
to
up.
think about how many 8.5 billion searches per day, 99,000 searches per second. Now that's just what they're recording as good traffic. But what about the bad traffic that they get? Like people trying to hack their DNS, so forth and so on. And Google DNS did get hacked at one time. It was a long time ago.
All that stuff seemed like it was like eons ago, but it was not that long ago.
Yep. Yeah, last successfully attack against Google occurred yesterday. The Google's DNS was hit. The internet monitoring firm BGPmon issued an alert to inform users. That was 2014 that Google DNS 8.8 was hijacked for around 22 minutes. So if it was hijacked for 22 minutes, let's go back. Let's go back. If it was hijacked for 22 minutes and they get 99,000 searches per second, they got a lot of traffic of a lot of IPs of where people come from on hitting Google, right? That's why a lot of people like to use like DuckDuckGo or other alternative sources and so forth and so on. But imagine your router at home, which is your DNS server more than likely. Imagine that got hacked. Now, here's another thought process. How much data, like how many searches does happens on your router every single day while you're not at home? While you're not at home, because you probably leave your laptop plugged up, you probably leave something plugged in, your TV's getting an update, the router itself getting an update, you may have your washer and dryer set up to it, your refrigerator set up to it, whatever, right? So I'm just trying to broaden the horizons of what when we start talking about traffic engineer and what does that look like. That's all. That's a whole nother down the road. I'll probably do that in 3 weeks. I'll have to get y'all some more information because there was a intuition engineer. It was over at Netflix. It came out a while ago. Yeah, chaos and intuition engineer. I'm trying to see if I can see an image of it here. Yeah, yeah, this one's it right here. This is the Netflix blog right here. So here's the intuition engineer. I talked about this a while ago, but now we start getting into traffic. It's not coming up. Let me see if this one will come up. That's still spinning. Oh, that's awesome. Medium wants me to log in. Let's see. Let me see if it'll play for me here. I just want to see if I can get some. Uh, Now, this guy here, Casey Rosenthal, him and another guy broke out and they started their own company. Um, and when they started their own company, Casey reached out to me because he was like, "I heard you're someone I need to talk to. Come work for us." He left Netflix to really start intuition, really branch out on intuition engineering and Kubernetes and traffic, and basically create his own platform. You can look up Casey Rosenthal. I don't know what Casey is doing now. This is probably about 4 years ago. Yeah, he is. He's CEO and co-founder of Arica on LinkedIn. You can go check out Casey. You can follow his stuff as well too. But yeah, he's the CEO and founder. He used to be the engineering manager of the Chaos engineering team at Netflix. If you ever heard of Chaos Monkey, basically what Chaos Monkey is, hey, you say your application is up, you got redundancy in your application, throw a monkey wrench at it. And if the application still works after we thrown that monkey wrench at it, like we may take down DNS, we may take down this, and this is really where the platform engineering comes into play as well too, and Kubernetes and reliability and self-healing and so forth. This is where that comes into play. If you want to start making big bucks, if you want to start getting into the weeds, get into the SRE engineering, the traffic engineering. Imagine how many hits, how much traffic does Facebook get a day in marketing? Remember, Facebook is still number one for marketing. As much as people talking about Facebook is for old people, it's still the number one go-to place for marketing. So it's TikTok. Imagine how much TikTok gets. I think TikTok might have taken over Facebook, or they may be neck and neck. But imagine the amount of advertisements that get placed and get hit and get seen on these different platforms, right? When we'll start talking about this, right? So, which leads me back, all the way back, coming all the way back to design thinking, coming all the way back. So, those that have been to the meetup on Wednesdays, I've been talking about design thinking. So, tonight we're going to talk about design thinking from an infrastructure perspective, a project management perspective, and then I'll talk about it next week from an SRE perspective. I'll talk about it from a traffic engineer perspective. You're going to hear me talking about this a lot, because a lot of things, a lot of different pieces go into this when we're talking about it. So let's get into design thinking. Let me blow this up some. Um, Design thinking is playing increasingly, and this is from 2019, an increasingly significant role in the business world. Companies doing some of the most innovative work, such as Apple, Amazon, and Google, use this approach to help solve complex problems and develop highly creative solutions, products, and services. The need for design thinking is especially urgent now, constantly increasing pace of innovation. So even those that are entrepreneurs, even those of you that are out here on your own and working, you have to have design thinking in your mind as well too. Have I seen the hash? Yep, yep. So people are designing new solutions, no longer have a luxury of focus on just a single aspect of the problem, so they can solve problems holistically. A senior lecturer at MIT and co-instructor of MIT professional education. And those of you that know about MIT, go look up this Mastering Innovation and Design Thinking. I think that class may be free or maybe a webinar, but go check it out. Don't quote me. Just go. go look it up. It's called it's a course, and that course they might have released that for free. Go look at edx.org, and look up MIT professional education, and then look up mastering innovation and design thinking. And that may be on there for free because it was from 2019. We're in 2023. That may be free now. That may be something that you could just look at. So go check that out. They need to think of every element of design and single element that they're focusing on at the same time. They need to know how what they make relates to the rest of the system. Those who use design thinking innovate in ways to bring better experiences to their customer and build technologies and processes around it. In other words, it's all about the customer experience. And we're going to get into that because there's a reason why I mentioned this, because then we'll start getting into platform engineering, and D has already put the actual definition in there. And then again, is if listen, whatever you do, and this is just a fundamental thing to think about. Whenever you mention something to improve something at work or whatever the case may be, what's the ROI on that? How is it going to be? What's the bottom line? Is it going to lead us back to some more money? Is it going to make us efficient? What is that going to look like? So that's what you have to think about, right? All right. So now in everything we do, we ultimately make things to serve people. So you need to think about how people are going to experience products when you're making thousands of decisions that go into a solution. Cotelli explained that design thinking is a framework that helps engineers and designers move through a structured design process. It's a way to frame your strategy, your design approach, your development around the end user. But there are many different variants of design thinking, and not all approaches are created equal. And while there are no guarantees for success, some design thinking methods are more effective than others. All right. It depends on what you're going down, Ruben. I'm not sure what you're looking for, Darius, on and when you ask that question, because those are two different paths. CCNA is more networking, and RHCSA is more towards Linux. And if you want to combine those two, they work together. But if not, it doesn't matter. Well, I don't know what you're looking for when you ask that question. Are you looking for which one should I do first, or which one's gonna make me the most money, or both? So the question is, you could probably make the same amount of money with CCNA as you would begin in the RHCSA, but the RHCSA will probably lend you more flexibility because the CCNA is really geared towards networking, where the RHCSA has some networking elements in it, but you're able to be flexible because you can touch different type of systems, like a backup system or a platform or what have you. Versus with CCNA, you'll probably be working with traffic from a small office, home office, or something like that, or configuring routers and switches and VLANs. Well, you're not really as flexible to me unless you start programming. And when I say programming, Cisco DevNet, that type of situation, that's what I'm thinking there. All right.
I read that totally different. I just read it as are the CCNA and RCSA still
Still
recognizable.
recognizable, but they are recognizable, but the path.
I totally get it, but that's just how I read it. I'm just like, she winning. How we know.
You're breaking up. That's why you're breaking up. You did that and you slowed down.
I slowed it down. I said, how we know.
No, the frame slowed down.
Oh, the frame.
Yeah, because you were being mean and nasty.
I was not being mean and nasty. You better stop it. I'm just saying, I just was like, yes. Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did that answer your question, Darius?
Yep. Yeah. So I identify needs, right? This is the most critical and most difficult step. And this is what we went over in the class is identifying the needs, that MVP, right? We got to get to that MVP. Again, that ROI for that customer, that ROI for the product, and what's going to get what's going to, we could reiterate, or we could do iterations of that product, right? There's no good and bad design outside of context. You make something you think is a great product, but what's the context? Consumers might have a different preference for a Samsung phone or Apple phone, but the context for their decision making, right? Gathering information. This is the research phase, right? To design innovative products, you have to first watch what people do and how they do it in their environment. Then find analogies, or I guess analogs. I guess that's supposed to be analogies, analogs to their problem you're trying to solve. Things that exist in the world can inform your solution. For example, if you're trying to develop a new container for pressurized liquid, you might look at how champagne bottles were delivered. Stakeholder analysis. Too often, people limit their research to users when it's equally important to consider the stakeholders, other stakeholders. Not all stakeholders hold the same value to a company. Example, a complex network of stakeholders to determine how to take advantage of the network to develop more opportunities for win-win and non-traditional stakeholders. Operational research, things you could be limited by. Typical limitations include money, time, resources, approvals, sign off, right? Hazard analysis. Innovation can also result in examining risk and determine how to prevent them from happening. For example, the banking industry created an overdraft protection to help customers mitigate the consequences of a check bouncing, right? Specific creation. The devil is in the details, as they say, but specs that are too detailed limit innovation. Remember, don't get in the weeds. We talk design thinking, we're not in the weeds yet. We're at a higher level, and then we can dip down, right? Creative design. This is when you need to spend time in the problem space and think deeply about it, right? Of course, brainstorming and other common creativity techniques are valuable here. However, when you're trying to innovate boldly, you need to understand how to run in those sessions, how to maximize the value in them, how to bring in stimulus to the sessions, how to change the brain chemistry of people doing the work. Conceptual design, right? The part where you, I guess it's win now down the concepts you develop and start to zero in on the solution. Prototype design, creating a model of the idea that's testable. MVP, again, verification, right? So that's all on the infrastructure side, and you can kind of look at that from a platform side, right? Now we're gonna get into D's favorite part.
What is
Now,
my favorite part, Tamika?
the favorite part is design thinking in project management, right? I
That is
gave you I
so
gave you
not my
infrastructure.
favorite part.
Gave you infrastructure. Gave you infrastructure.
Not my favorite part.
And this came out September 11th. Well, it was updated September 11th. But now we're going to look at design thinking and project management and why and how you should do it. Now, we talked about the infrastructure. We talked about the MVP. We talked about the iteration. We talked about all those things. But if I'm a project manager and I have to manage this, what am I looking at? What's my go-to? You ready, D?
Yeah.
Yeah. Learn what design thinking is, the process of design thinking in action, and how project management can implement it in their work to create more user-centered collaborative projects. You ready? Because this is where you're the champion. You gotta woo woo woo. You gotta woo woo woo. All right, let's go.
Woo-woo.
All right, here we go. Okay, the table of contents is like, what is design thinking? I won't get into that, but let's go to the 6 benefits of design thinking. I won't go into what is design thinking. I think we got that idea. All right, so here's design thinking from a project management situation. Let me. Can I change it?
Just pay
Oh,
clothes
no.
out to your desk. That's what my go-to lately. They try to trick you.
No, it won't let me do it. But okay, here we go. We just got to leave it up there. Okay. 6 benefits of design thinking and project management. Use eccentric solutions. enhance creativity, iterative refinement, collaboration and diversity, agile adaptability, and innovation catalyst. Now let's get into what each one of these mean. All right. So user centric solutions. I hope, do I have to subscribe? Oh, good, cool. User
Don't scroll
centric.
down too much. It might cut you off.
Yeah.
Might start doing this.
Design design thinking places users at the heart of the of project management. By empathizing with end users needs, desires, and pain points, teams can create solutions that truly resonate with stakeholders. Now you're like, Tamika, I thought you said we was getting into platform engineering. Well, we are, but you got to remember, when we're talking about design thinking and designing solutions, who are we designing them for? Who's the end user? Who's going to use it? And the end user could be internal. It could be you. It could be external. It could be a combination of both. And then you got to test it and then keep iterating over it, right? All right, next one is this approach ensures that projects deliver tangible value and enhance user satisfaction and customer experience, fostering strong relationships and brand loyalty. Apple is a good example of that. What's a good another one that is user centric solutions? What's a good another product that's been around at least 20 years? D, you got a product? I say Nissan, the car.
Nissan, the company,
Yeah, the
because that
company and
Altima,
their cars. Yeah, the
that
Altima.
Altima is a fan favorite.
Yeah, the F-150 is another one.
Yeah,
Cadillac. You know what else is a brand favorite that don't get talked about at all?
Hanes, Fruit Loom.
Crayola.
It's my favorite, and Sharpie.
Crayola, Sharpie. You when you start thinking about
Love a good big.
yeah, Coca-Cola,
Just
Pepsi,
everyday things. But you know
everyday
what?
things.
They've been around so long, it's just ingrained in the fabric of our lives,
Right.
you know. And
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 but and
that's what
they
we
have
talk on
tweaked
Tech
them.
Stocks and Jobs about investing. Like you use these things so much, you don't even think about, man, I spend my money here. I need to
Mm-hmm.
invest. What does this portfolio look like? What does this company look like? What are their brands under this umbrella?
Mm-hmm.
Craziness.
Right. So that's that brand loyalty because you paid attention to the customer. Now let's flip it. What brands have not paid attention to their customer base?
Kia.
Kia.
Paid it too not enough attention. Like they're so busy trying to make it user friendly, it's too friendly.
Yeah, they got the recalls too, right? They had a
Right.
recall
It's
too,
too
right?
friendly.
They had a recall on the car catching on fire, right? BlackBerry,
Shoot.
right?
Tesla. Like
Palm Pilot, the Palm Pilot.
the Palm the Palm Pilot.
Hmm.
But I think things just evolve.
Yeah,
Because
but
don't they still have a Palm Pilot, like a
Payless is another one.
a
Payless is another one. But like, yeah, again, again, as much as people want things to change, they really like them the same.
they do. People are definitely creatures of habit. I
I
know
I,
I am when it comes to certain things.
I think Chips Ahoy did a bad job. I don't know what happened to Chips Ahoy.
Ooh, that's like Mrs. Fields. Like
They
I think as the business grows, it just
the cookies are not the
it
same. They ain't the same
loses.
size. They don't
Chips
taste the
Ahoy used to be
same.
tasty. Oreos used to be tasty. Now I only really like the ones in the 6-pack. Like the quality over time, just
It's not the same. Like they
it's
have
not the same.
changed. You know who didn't pay attention to their people either? Coca-Cola. When they came out with new Coke, And everybody was like, take that off the shelf. It's trash. It is trash. Atlanta went crazy. They were like, we don't want that mess. Take it off. We don't want it. Coca-Cola had to go back and everybody was like, we don't want it. The
I was gonna
world was
storm the
like,
building.
huh?
Y'all was gonna storm the building.
Did you not see?
I am not from Atlanta. However, my what's so crazy is my family was split. My mom's side, they drunk Coke, and my grandmother was on my dad's side, they drink Pepsi. But I can tell the difference. Pepsi is like way sweeter. They don't have that bite.
Look at this right here. What did New Coke? What did New Coke in the 80s taste like? This was not what Coca-Cola drinkers were looking for, so it failed, and Coca-Cola ended up having to double back and release Coca-Cola Classic with the original formula, but they switched out. They took the cocaine out.
She asking me about some cool in the 80s about the Coke.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
And listen, New
That
Coke
was up in arms.
Yeah, New Coke was sweeter and had a lightness about it, like there was less syrup in the carbonated water than the original. People was like, 85 people was like, take that off the shelf. That's exactly how people look.
Like Pepsi.
Look, people was like, what is this? Take that back.
It was Pepsi. That's what it was.
Yeah, New Coke was like, people were like, New Coke, like, no. Yeah, take that back. Yeah, we weren't feeling that. Take that back. So again, when we talk about that, creating that product brand loyalty. Now let's pause right here. You as an individual, your work ethic, how you do things also creates brand loyalty.
Yes.
And
when you say how you do things, expound on that.
Meaning how your work ethic, how you show up to work, how you solve problems, how you talk through problems, how you treat others. All that is creating a brand for you, which makes people loyal to who you are in and out of work. Right? In and out of work. That branding, your work ethic speaks volumes. So when you come into work with, I'm not saying come into work with a smile. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about coming into work and doing work. How you close your tickets, how you convey problems to your peers, how you talk through problems, how you execute things. All that creates a brand of you. Like I always tell you to be the solution. That's where that comes in at.
And what about when it comes to the client?
Same thing. The client comes looks at you for an answer. They're looking at you for a solution. And sometimes you may not have a solution, or you may take bits and pieces of other things to make a solution.
Right.
Right. But the goal is at all times be the solution. Be the brand that you want represented, right? So let's just ask this in the chat. And then even you, D, if you had to pick a brand that represented who you are, what brand would that be? If you had to choose between Coke, Pepsi, Taco Bell, what brand would represent who you are?
What brand would represent who I am?
Mm-hmm. I know it's a hard question.
I know.
Would it be Armor Hammer? Would it be some type of cooking oil? Would it be Lysol? What brand represents you, and what about that brand represents you, right? When I say that, what about that brand represents you, like in terms of like, okay, Band-Aid, I'm stuck on Band-Aid brand because Band-Aid stuck on me. Band-Aid is a solution, but everybody knows Band-Aid from the different colors, from whatever. What brand represents you, and what about that brand do you like?
These are the questions she asks me all the time. They're so deep, right, Alexa? She's so deep. And she'll ask me this shit like at 2 in the morning. And I'll be like, girl, I'm going to bed.
Yep.
So while you were talking about it and explaining it, at first I was like, am I big lots? And then when you started getting into it, it gave me a time to think about what brand would I be, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I would be Harley Davidson.
Okay.
And the reason why I would be Harley Davidson is because of, and I liken it not only to my personality, but the stay in the marketplace. Like it's a global brand, right?
It caters to multiple people, multiple
It caters to
backgrounds.
multiple. No matter, like, even in the bikes itself, even in the models, you can get everything from like a sports hybrid all the way up to a cruiser and everything in between, right? They have a very, very loyal following. Also, with something for everyone, is even though there's something for everyone, there is still when you see the Harley Davidson brand, you think of luxury. You know what I'm saying? Like you think of a higher end bike. You think about it brings a certain nostalgia to it. Because it's not a Honda, it's not a sport bike, but it's something about, like, one of their taglines is like it's not about the trip, but it's like how you get there. And it's just, that's life. Like, it's how you get there. You're gonna be going through all type of obstacles, but at the end of the day, enjoy the journey.
Gotcha.
And you can make it super fast. You can slow it down. You can get a young person on it. You can get an old person on it.
Is it reliable?
Is it
reliable?
It is very reliable. And it can be as simple as you want it to be, or it can be as elaborate as you want it to be. But it's solid and it's gonna show up.
I think I'm gonna be a backpack.
Which brand of backpack? Because you don't just get any backpack.
I forget the name of this backpack over here.
It's one I always backpack. Huh? It's a Swiss backpack.
Yeah, the Swiss backpack. That would be
it's the Swiss admin backpack. Yes, it's a Swiss backpack. You will definitely be a Swiss.
Yep. The Swiss backpack. It's reliable. You can use it's diverse. It's got multiple colors. It's for men, women, and children. You can go indoor, outdoor with it. You can travel with it. It's everything. I'm a backpack. I'm the Swiss backpack. That's me. Tech RX. I don't know why you El Chapo.
Trader Joe's.
I do have my backpack
question. If you were a brand, what brand would you be, and why? I had to think on that. I did. I switched my whole game up because I thought, first thing I thought was like a store. I was like my grandmother called it, Holly.
Here's another brand, Bengay and Tylenol.
But are they under Johnson and Johnson?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Tylenol is under Procter and Gamble and Bengay may be under Johnson and Johnson. But no one thinks about Johnson and Johnson when they say Tylenol. They just be like Tylenol.
But you know, we go so deep into things like, and we've had him on the show before.
And then no one ever says uh it's Bengay, Procter and Gamble, or Johnson and Johnson. They be like, no, Bengay, and they know the smell. You just know the smell, or you don't, or you get the unscented one, kind of
Do
like
you like
off.
it hot?
Hmm.
You know what? I don't like either. I like Tiger Balm.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it's just a household name. Like that's it's a
Yeah, your girl.
household
Now my
name.
grandmother used to have some Big Gay.
Yeah, BC
Yeah,
Powder, Starbucks. Yeah, all those are branding. But even within the brand of Starbucks, the different drinks have their own branding in within that, right?
yeah. Even the sizes,
Yeah.
how you
So
order.
so again, getting back to design solutions or design thinking, the branding and how that value add to the customer satisfaction. Again, going back to the customer satisfaction. Now, we talked about it from an infrastructure perspective, but now we're talking about it from a project management perspective, right? All right, so the second one, enhance creativity. Design thinking promotes a culture of ideation and creative thinking. It encourages teams to explore diverse perspectives, break free from conventional constraints, and generate a multitude of innovative ideas. This infusion of fresh thinking sparks creativity, unlocking untapped possibilities and driving transformative project outcomes. Iterative refinement. Rather than aiming for perfection from the outset, design thinking embraces an iterative process of prototyping and testing. Remember, iterative. Think how many times they had to come out with new Coke or the different flavors of Coca-Cola, cherry Coke, and so forth. Think about the different trucks, the different models that went into, say, Porsche or BMW or Lamborghini, right? Listening to what the customer wants, right? Listening to that customer, right? By gathering user feedback early and often, project managers can refine their solutions iteratively, reducing the risk of costly errors and ensuring that the final product or service meets the evolving customer needs. Collaboration and diversity. We saw the other fail that we saw was the AI that came out and it said black people were monkeys or recognized them as monkeys. Remember that? Or their skin is too dark because the people that are sitting in the rooms testing these, or they don't have a diverse set of people to test these things on. So most definitely it don't match what you want, right? Most definitely don't
No,
match
so
what
it's
you
definitely gonna give you 10 fingers. It's not. It's not. It's still wonky. It's still testing some stuff. When I was in those headshots, I was like, "What outfit is? What outfit is this?"
Yep, Chick-fil-A is another one. The two that came to my mind was Sony and AMD. They do too much, but they hit with PlayStation and the Ryzen chips, and people realize they're good at what they do. Yeah, and the same way with Samsung. Same way with Samsung, right?
X is one of my favorites.
All right, design thinking emphasizes collaborative problem solving. It encourages a cross-functional teams with diverse backgrounds and expertise, and this is what I mean by here about diverse backgrounds. It doesn't necessarily mean that you all are different hues, but just diverse backgrounds. Like you may be thinking about something from a disability
Did
standpoint.
you say
You
we're different hues?
yes. Yeah. And expertise to collaborate, fostering a vibrant exchange of ideas. The diversity of perspectives strengthens decision making and fuels the emergence of more robust and inclusive solutions. Agile adaptability, meaning we're going to be agile really from the beginning. Like we get something, it don't work, we take it back, we mitigate the risk, go back in, go back at it again. Innovation catalyst. Design thinking acts as a catalyst for innovation within the project management. It challenges teams to think beyond the obvious and envision new possibilities. Stop doing the same old thing. Stop doing the same old thing. Be creative. Even with you all studying, you if you find something that works, that's cool. But sometimes you get bored, and you have to come up with new ways to retain information, new ways to study, different things, being in different groups, attending different conferences. You're taking in a lot of different points. But again, the ability to shift, the ability to be agile is what we're going for here. By fostering a culture of experimentation, risk taking, and continuous learning, design thinking empowers organizations to design breakthrough innovations and stay ahead in a rapidly evolving landscape, right? And the 5-step design thinking process. Design thinking is powerful problem solving methodology that helps project managers navigate complex challenges with a human centered focus, right? Empathize, understanding the use and needs, define clearly, articulate the problem, right? And that's really talking to that those end users, that customer, to really articulate their problem. Ideate, generate creative solutions, prototype, build out, and try concepts, right? 5, gather user feedback. And then now it says how to apply design thinking to projects. I'll drop this link in here because it's a very long article, but I thought it was very good because it gives you, one side is infrastructure, and the other side is project management, and now we're getting ready to go into platform engineering, which is a combination of all these things. So here, D, I give you this. I think it'd be good for
That's a
y'all
good
to just
article.
have that in your repertoire. All right. Platform engineering. All right. So I got a couple of things here for platform engineering. Let's skip over to here. Those that want to follow along with platform engineering, there is a YouTube channel called Platform Engineering. Just type in platform engineering, it comes right up. There's also a website for platform engineering, platformengineering.org, the global home for platform engineering. They have a Slack group here. You can go join their Slack group for platform engineering, and so forth, and get into platform engineering, what it is, why. And I'm going to touch on it a little bit of it today, and I'll probably reiterate over some more information as I dive and dissect everything, right? So now there is also Platform Con. So there's a conference for platform engineering. And you can also get this at if you go to Kubernetes, if you go to KubeCon or OpenShift, those are platforms. Those are platforms. So here we go, platform engineering. Here's a conference, Charity Majors. I know her. I know this person, Brian Douglas, open sourced. Let's look at all the other speakers here. Uh, uh, know this guy. Let's see. Who else? Mm, 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 mm. Steve. No, Steve. Jeremy, yes. And this is where I get thin on platform engineering. I mean, look, I'm just looking to see who's all speaking or spoke. You see, we're not in the game, as you can see here on the platform engineering side. You see, we kind of thin over here, kind of thin in the hue. Yeah, and the list goes on. But you can see who's leading the way there. So I want to bring this up also too, so you guys can start looking at this as an option as well too. All right, look at this as an option as well as something that you could get into. And if you went onto the website, I think they have the I mean, on the YouTube channel, they have some of the videos from 2023. All right. So, what is often everybody always talks about is cybersecurity. But what are the six pillars of platform engineering? And this is a multi series right here for platform engineering. And this is security focused. And then I'll get into what platform engineering is. So platform team workflows and checklists for building security, pipelines, provisioning, connectivity, orchestration, and observability into their platform, right? Platform engineering is a discipline of designing and building tool chains and workflows that enable self-service capabilities for software engineering teams. That's why I mentioned Amazon is a platform. AWS is a platform. You go in there, self-service. You have services that are in there. You click on what you want, and then you go from there. Same way with GCP. Same way with Oracle. Same way with DigitalOcean. Platform, right? If we were to create a platform for women in Linux, what would that look like? Where it's self-servicing. What would that look like? It's a self-service model. You come in and you come into this platform and do what?
I don't know. Let's ask the people. If Women in Linux had a platform, what would you want it to
A
do?
self-servicing platform.
A self-servicing platform. What would you want it to do? You gotta take it to the people. Didn't we just read it? User-centric thinking. What would it be? If Women in Linux had a self-service platform,
what would it look like?
What would it look like? Let me put the question up.
Oh. All right. So these tools and workflows comprise an internal developer platform, which is often referred to as just a platform. The goal of a platform team is to increase the developer productivity, facilitate more frequent releases, improve application stability, lower security and compliance risk, and reduce costs. So you're like, well, how's that different than infrastructure? Because you may be actually creating the actual services. You may be writing using some programming tools, some programming languages, I should say, in order to do that. This guy outlined the workflows, the checklist steps for six primary technical areas of developer experience in platform engineering. Published in six parts. This is part one. Introduces the series and focuses on security. You can download this as a PDF and so forth. So let's get into it. Platform engineering is about the developer experience. So who, in this case, who's the customer? The developer. It's the customer. The solution engineers and architects I work with at Hashi have supported many organizations as they scale their cloud operating model through platform teams. And the key for these teams to meet their goals is to provide a satisfying developer experience. We have observed two common themes among companies that deliver great developer experience. Standardizing on a set of infrastructure services to reduce friction and operations teams. In other words, I have 5 teams, and we may have 5 teams, and those 5 teams use 5 different sets of tools. You don't want to do that. You want the 5 teams to use the same set of tools. Now there may be a little nuance on that, but if I use GitLab, everybody else is using GitLab. If we're using Terraform, everybody else should be using Terraform. If we are using this particular cloud provider, everybody should be using this particular cloud provider if Another customer does not come along that comes along and wants to that particular cloud. We're going where the money resides. So that's what that comes down to, right? All right, and it says also here, this empowers a small centralized group of platform engineers with the right tools to improve the developer experience across the entire organization with APIs, documentation, and advocacy. The goal is to reduce tooling and process fragmentation, resulting in a greater core stability for your software delivery systems and environments. What is the number one thing I tell y'all to ask people when you are talking about a job? What is this? What is the actual tech stack? This is what you get out of the actual job requirement is the tech stack. That lets you know the tooling that they have decided on and where you probably need to beef up at and have a thorough understanding of how to use that tool or several tools, and then how do those tools all work together. How do I use all those tools? How do I use Cloud and Terraform? How to use Cloud Terraform and Ansible? How to use Cloud Terraform and Jenkins? How to use Cloud Terraform and Kubernetes? How to use Cloud Terraform Kubernetes and containers? How to use Cloud Terraform Kubernetes containers and security? How do I get all those things wrapped in together as my platform? And how do they all integrate and work with each other? Right? And what value add by using those tools does that help with the customer? How does that help with the customer? A platform as a product practice, heritage IT projects typically have a finite start date and end date. That's not the case with an internal developer platform. It's just truly finished. Ongoing tasks include backlog management, that's Scrum Master, regular feature releases and roadmap updates. And here's a platform for you to that you didn't even think it was a platform. Ansible is a platform, and I'm going to show you from here what they're talking about. Let me go here and go to maintainers. So here you get a chance to look at, learn about maintaining responsibilities, grow with the community, so forth and so on. But you also get a chance to see when the next releases are coming out. So let's go here and do Ansible releases, and you can do the same thing for Chef. You can do the same thing for Kubernetes and so forth. But here we go right here. You want to know releases and maintenance, what's in the life, what's coming out, what's new, change logs, what's vulnerable about it, what are they doing different, this, that, and other. And here's an Ansible roadmap, and then there's an Ansible core roadmap, right? So this is considered, you can consider this another platform if you want to, right? It's self-service, download and install, but they also have an automated one in each one of the clouds as well too, right? Another one that you have, I talked about Kubernetes roadmap. So Kubernetes has a roadmap here. I wonder if this is their roadmap. It may be somebody copied it or something. Let me see. Constantly update, blah, 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 blah. Kubernetes certification, get a discount, blah, blah, blah. Learning roadmap. It's not taking me anywhere. Does it take me somewhere? Nope, it's not taking me anywhere. I figured it wasn't going to take me nowhere. Let's go here. All right. CAP theorem distributed. They don't have their. I'm looking for Kubernetes itself. There's the architecture guide and so forth, but I'm looking for their roadmap. You can go and join. I have it set up. I get alerts about Kubernetes roadmaps and what the latest releases are, the change logs, the so forth and so on. I get all that. 25% off. The CKA, the CKA, the CKS, the CKD. There should be CKA, CKD. CKS exam. Got one more day for get 25% off. You all are interested in that. 1 day, 2 hours and 24 minutes. All right, there you go. So let's get back to it right here. All right, no platform should be designed in a vacuum. Like we tell you, don't study in a vacuum, don't design in a vacuum. All right. So what are this the actual things they're looking at? What are the six? They're looking at security. I talk about it all the time. Security of the code, security of the containers, security of the product, pipeline, CI/CD, version control, right? Version control, provisioning, connectivity, orchestration, orchestration of the platform, Kubernetes, so forth and so on, and observability, right? Security. First questions developer ask when they start using a system is, how do I create an account? How do I get set up with credentials? How do I get an API key? Right? I'm going to skip over all of that and go down here into the next one. I want to just talk about it. You can see these are long. This is a long article. It is a very long article. That's just the security part, right? That's all the security part. He's got it broken up in this first one is talking about just in just in this one is security. The next one is going to be pipeline. The third one is provisioning, connectivity, orchestration. This one is focused in on security. How and then how do you set that up? Enabling this kind of DevSecOps mindset requires tools, decisions, and support modern identity and driven security, right? Again, DevSecOps is going to be in your platform engineering. It's going to be in your SRE engineering. It is its own entity, and it has different layers in which it's going to be in, right? So, what do platform engineers do? What do platform engineers do? Platform engineering is an engineering approach aimed to modernizing enterprise software delivery. A specialized product team develops and maintains an engineering platform intended to suit the requirements of software engineers and others by offering standardized reusable tools and functionalities while also connecting the complex infrastructure. A platform engineer is part of this product team. DevOps combines automation and visualization to accelerate the deployment, administration, and monitoring. Platform engineers productize these technologies, processes, and best practices into reusable tools and services across the organization's various engineering departments. This may be sound similar to platform as a service, but the concepts differ in many ways. Right? And I'll give you this right here. Responsibilities of a platform engineer: design and implementing infrastructure, automating the application and deployment process, providing troubleshooting and debugging support, monitoring and optimizing performance, maintaining and updating infrastructure and applications, staying abreast of industry movements and best practices. You would do this also with DevOps, with DevSecOps. You will also do this, right? It's a difference because these customers are internal, where DevSecOps, your customers could be internal and external. With actual platform engineering, you want to make the life easier of the developers who's actually designing something for an outside customer. All right, all right. I'm not gonna get into this. I'll wait next week. I'll do part two next week. We'll go through this video. It's 57 minutes long. We'll go through this video next week. D going down. D going down. D going down. She going down. All right. So let's end it on this note. You know, I always have to pull up the jobs for you all. All right. All right. So fractional CEO. If you don't know what a fractional CEO is, it is what it sounds like. It's remote. It's a contract. The CEO may be there part of the time. But let's go and look at it here. Oh, here it is right here about the job. Self motivator, 1099 consumption, 1099 compensation, proven track record on building relationships and influencing, identify opportunities in our cost saving services with prospects and new clients, current or former business professional, B2B, CFO, 10 years of experience of business, 10 years of business experience, strong communication, and so forth. And they got one in Jacksonville, they got one in Fort Lauderdale, they got one in Mobile, Alabama, all over. Fractional CEO. I'll drop a link here, but I also pull this up because um, some of you all have never ever heard of a fractional CEO. And what does that look like? Uh, a fractional CEO, also known as a part time CEO or interim CEO, refers to a professional leader who takes on the role of CEO on a part time or temporary basis within an organization. And it's a great way for you to actually start utilizing your leadership skills in order to become that CEO. So I'm leading down that path, right? We talked about DevOps, DevSecOps, we talked about SRE, we talked about platform engineering, we talked about product. Now we're going to talk about leadership and being a fractional CEO and what that can look like, because you don't always have to be a full-time CEO on a project. You could be a CEO on multiple things, right? So you could be making one check at 200, another check at 150, and another check over here at 200, and you may be a fractional CEO for 6 months or a year, whatever the case, and interim until somebody comes into play. Depends on how they write that up in terms of equity, the job, and so forth. Put a one in the chat if you like what you heard tonight. Put a one in the chat if you like what you heard tonight. So this back down here. So here I also went into like lead solution architect at the Federal Reserve, 200 to 250. Here's another lead in San Francisco at 250. Um, Epic ASAP technical lead, right? 200 to 250. Engineering landscape senior infrastructure division, 200 to 250. And you can go back on this website and put in remote as well too. They have different ones. This is in Redmond. This is a UX program coordinator. This is all up in Seattle area. Here, this is jobs in Atlanta. Principal consultant, 200 to 250 for DFIR. Principal support consultant, 200 to 250. Senior permitting specialist and project manager, 200 to 250, right? And then this one is again at San Francisco, and this one is San Francisco. But these are ML jobs and so forth. So you can filter out on those and go from there. I wanted y'all to have that information tonight. We're going to talk more about the security side of platform engineering next week. I'll keep this article. We'll go into more into that, and I'll probably do a 3-part series, maybe a 4-part series, because I want to get into site reliability engineering, and I also want to get into traffic engineering. Those are other routes that people can take. You've heard DevSecOps, you've heard of site reliability engineering. Here's platform engineering and traffic engineering. And what do those and what skill sets do they have? Who is looking for those? You can only, when we start talking traffic engineering, think of all the big names. Think of Meta, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Samsung, anywhere there's a big platform Any of the, you know who else is a good place to think about traffic engineering? Any of the cybersecurity companies that are looking, that create a platform and they have a ton of traffic. Cloudflare is one of those, right? When we start talking about that. So I'll get more into that. That's when we start getting into your pay bands may be anywhere, the 300,000 to a million, million 1.5, those pay bands when we start looking at that. All right. Well, that's all I got for you all today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it made sense. I appreciate you all for stopping by. Soothing sleep relaxation. Kiss my face twice. Lambo Mercy. Got you. Which one you like? A Lambo or a Mercy? Which one you like? K Diggy, what's going on? Casual economists, we got you. All right.
Thanks
Take
for
care.
coming out. We appreciate you. And let us know how you're enjoying the show on a Monday night. Is it interfering with the football? You watching the boat? Let us know.
Well, we don't start the 8 in football.
Football is on right now.
Football be over about 10, right? Well, those that want it, they want it. Those that don't, they don't. They'll watch the replay.
I agree, but I just put it out there
Yeah. All right.
for those who like to watch us live, ask questions. It's a benefit of catching a live stream.
Never know when somebody gonna buy something, or you might get a gift card. That's the kid like I like Monday nights. Yeah, Monday night lights. Yeah, cool. All right, y'all be safe.
Have a good night.